What's up, chess people? Chess people. JCS is here with Mr. Coffee. Mr. Coffee, the bronze medalist. What is up, guys? Astrobate, Mr. Coffee, JCS, double mods, move 11. Astrobate just subscribed, tier 3. Tier 3. Subscribed 22 months in a row. 22 month streak. Move 11. What's up, guys? You had me laughing at blunders. Knight h4. Astrobate's blunders are so bad that his blunders have blunders. He has like blunders within the blunder, you know? So like there'll be a blunder and there was like 5 reasons why it's a blunder, you know? I'm like, well, even if he couldn't take that piece, even if he couldn't take that whole piece like for free, it would still be a bad move because of this and this. That's like beyond double question mark, you know? It's beyond blunder. It's an uber blunder. That just hangs a piece, but it's a positional mistake. What's up, someone on sound? We've got a subscriber stream tonight. My next to last American side stream for a long time. No one knows how long it will be before I come back here, or if ever. Assuming I will come back eventually to some degree. But I'm home base. I am permanently based in Hungary after this next 2 streams. Which I was in general anyway, but we've been here for a long time. No Simul Sunday, no Simul Sunday. I've got important, yeah, Sunday's going to be tough because I've got a lot of stuff I have to move. I have to move out on Monday. I have to move the remaining furniture in my house out on Monday. I've got a lot of moving to do on Sunday. Sunday is like moving day. What will you do? Has anyone seen Merle since Sunday? Would you think something happened to him as a result of my simul directly? I don't know. What happened to Merle on Sunday? Does anyone know? He usually just plays my simuls lately. Actually, let's see if he made a donation. He did make a donation, JCS, so these donations reset on Monday. You know, he had made a donation of 100 bits at some point this week since Monday. So that answers your question to any degree. I want to thank Jim for being the top gifter, the top grifter. Jim, Mr. Slowhand, top donator. Into the green digits. This is our second to last stream for the month before I leave. By the way, happy Halloween to everybody. I should think about that. I'm not really dressed up for Halloween. The latex panda suit never really worked out. We didn't have enough sponsorship for that. I'm afraid to say. No one gifted us enough for the latex panda costume. Maybe next year. There's always next year, guys. Who knows where I'll be next Halloween? Someone has not offered to cover the whole thing. I forgot about that. Don't say anything. What are you doing? We'll be like Rudy Giuliani. Shh. All right. Drop frames detected 2 minutes ago. Great. Drop frames. I can always, if I have to, I can always try to open the door. Do you guys believe that a door would affect would one simple door affect my Wi-Fi connection? Do you think a door would affect a Wi-Fi connection? Seriously? One simple door? Who's an expert on Wi-Fi connections? Yes, a little. I have the feeling it does. Some people are like, nah, it goes through doors, you know, magically. What's up, Antonio? All right, guys, we've got subscriber submissions from Mr. Slowhand, our top donator for the week. Jim, our top gifter for the week. Nefidov, one of our longest standing subscribers. It also bounces off doors, depending if they're made of steel or not. There is no simul on November 2. Yeah, I tried to make it clear, but it's not that easy to make things clear to people. Yeah, Friday is my last stream. Be here tomorrow. Not my last stream. My last stream until the next simul, which is going to be on the November 2 doesn't make sense to me. There's no simul November 2. You mean November 3? This isn't a vote. This isn't a democracy. Okay? I'm not Donald Trump. Wait, that doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. Sorry, anyway, this is not a democracy. My piece and board design remind you of the 90s. Wait a minute. Really? Damn, I thought everybody had that. My piece and board design remind you of the 90s. Why are you saying that now? I don't even have a board open, do I? JCS, what made you say that now? There's no board open. That's weird. Yeah, November 10th, next simul. Yeah, there will be no simul November 3rd. You confused me there. Don't confuse me. I'm stupid enough as it is. Mr. Slowhand, I shouldn't say stupid. I'm just kind of slow. Brain fog. I've been under a lot of stress, so my brain fog gets worse when I have a lot of stress. Mr. Slow, Jim, Nefedov, Astrobate, Move 11. I didn't even play like high school football or anything. I don't know what's with my brain. PSG, Soccer, and Mule Skinner. That's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we still have room for a couple of subscriptions. That sounds kind of Freudian. A couple of submissions. Yeah, someone on sound would probably do the simul from the plane. He's in the airport all the time. You guys can... I don't know. Olivero Lucas, what's up? Happy Halloween again. Sorry I have no costume. No candy either. The trick-or-treaters are just not coming to my house. No decorations. I don't live in a neighborhood. It's all like zombies and old people. Actually, it's appropriate for Halloween, but I call it Zombie Land because like 99% of my neighbors are like really old. There's like almost no children. So you don't have to worry about trick-or-treaters. Last year, like, I actually was prepared with some candy. Nobody came to my house. I even had like a Halloween decoration outside. All right. We're going to get started here. Mr. Slowhand. Mr. Slow. Good luck to Morois. He's playing in a tournament in France. Strong Open. And Morois, I'm not sure if he's in the open section or not, but he's fighting to try to get to 2,000 FIDE. He's like 1970 FIDE now. Regular. I think he's over 2,000 in Rapid. Mr. Slow, Thursday's subscriber game analysis. Latest over the board game from team competition last Sunday. I can understand. I'm too tired to do the simuls usually. You played white in the Smith-Morra Gambit. Uh-oh. We got some fans that are going to enjoy this. 3 wins, 2 draws so far. And he's talking about the team competition? I think I played a reasonable game. Still unsatisfied with my efforts to convert an advantage. My opponent has a national rating of 1900. I didn't really have time to watch the 960. I don't have time to do the basic functional things. Hopefully, once we get back to Budapest, I'll be able to pay more attention to chess. I'm going to actually play next Sunday. So, we'll see. Alright, the other guy is black. I didn't even know what happened, actually. Spoiler alert. Wesley played a brilliant second game. Wait. All I knew that the final was Magnuson and Wesley So. I'm stressed about the house selling. Yeah, it sucks. This guy that was promised to buy my house, he basically screwed me out of like the best month I had left to sell it. Now it might not sell till like the spring. Nobody wants to buy a house in a cold climate like in November. Alright, c takes d4, c3, d takes c, knight c6, knight f3, d6, bishop c4. I've been here, so he beat Maga's second game. Wow, first game was draw. Nice job, Wesley. So, Wesley, I like a6 here. That's a special variation. We've seen it a million times. Okay. Okay. I've also played knight f6. We've looked at this. We looked at this with someone on sound, and he's checked with his sources, and it's playable. But e6 is like the old-fashioned way to play for black, essentially. There's an IM who plays a slot. You don't say. Let's see. He moved to the same city as me. He copied me and became an international master. He's from the same country as me. He hung out in a lot of the same places I did. He basically tried to emulate me as a person. I can't imagine who it could be. But you can never emulate the great one. No, I'm just kidding, guys. It's on, I don't know. Yeah, I can't imagine who it is. Bob might know, but he's not here, thankfully. e6, castles, and then bishop e7, queen e2, a6. Stuk is trolling us now. Rook d1. He's the fan. Bob had his revenge. I don't know what that means. But you are apparently involved in it. We're not going to get into that. Queen c7. Bishop f4. You know, on a serious subject, this is game analysis. I want to talk about the position. It is a Smith-Morra, and we're not that far from reality when we talk about this other stuff, the side stuff. But I think when I first learned the Sicilian, this was the recommended way for black to play. Okay, so I actually might have had a game in something like this years ago. Usually black ends up having to play e5 later. Isn't that it? When the pressure piles up on d6 and the threat is to like sack a piece on d5. Knight f6, rook c1. I had a game on my stream where I think I played like queen b8. I want to say. Was that against you? Someone on sound? Did I ever have this against you? I might have tried this once, right? I did it once, though. I mean, I didn't do it multiple times. I think I played queen... I might have even played queen b8. I'm not sure, though. Maybe I just castled. You're not really threatening knight d5 until I castle. So when I castle, you play like bishop e3, and now you're threatening to play knight d5. Yeah, but it's not that easy, dude. You know, queen b8 is the best move according to the engine. I mean, internet IM. I definitely had this, probably. I swear to God, I had blitz games like this. Draw. Draw. There was like a draw by repetition or something. Draw. 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 Repetition of queen. I wouldn't be surprised if I had that exact game and agreed draw in 5-minute chess years ago, before I discovered playing like a6 earlier. So the question becomes, you know, someone on sound can maybe answer this, but is black supposed to play e5 at some point here? Is that the point? Is he supposed to play e5 like now? Is that a good move? And if so, does white play bishop g5 or does white play like bishop e3? So I'm not convinced that, you know, in this line white really gets an advantage either. It's sketchy. The D pawn is permanently backward, and I'll win it back. So queen b8, I'll win it back. I think I might have played something like this before, knight e5 at some point, if I get the chance. So let's say h3, knight e5. What does Mr. Someone on Sound think about this position? Are you gonna, Fox News says that white is better here. But we know that's fake. Fake news says white is better in this position. I don't know. But if given enough time, right, white can slowly unravel, in other words, and play f4. And then, they know the plan to play like f5 and try to blow black away. It's like a Sozin type of... The Sozin effect, essentially. I think I had a game with somebody, Stuk, was it you? Maybe Stuk, in fact, who's here. I mean, there was something about knight c4, I recall. I was able to... This is a classic Sozin sort of defense. You're able to just get in the way of that pressure on the b3, g8 diagonal. Yes, Stuk, I remember something about knight c4 happening. And it was some similarity to this. This is probably like, playable for both sides, but I'm not really convinced. Okay, so what happened? So basically we have a standard position where white played a3 instead of bishop e3. This is an interesting move because it gives us a new idea to play bishop a2. It is not a novelty because Reinhard Lenvi, who I think is probably like Austrian, maybe he's German, I don't know. We'll ask Mr. Slowhand. 1991, I was just a young master. I had became a master in 1991. National master. So a3 is an interesting move. Approved by someone on Sound. This is dubious, dude. I mean, I think that knight h5 is dubious. At least it doesn't drop a piece, Asterbait. At least it's not hanging to queen takes knight. Happy Halloween, guys. At least it's not something for the trick-or-treaters on the other side of the board. But, yeah. What happened in 1991? Gata Kamsky came to the United States, and I became a national master. Interesting history of 1991 in the chess world. Sometime in early 1991, my rating crossed 2200 USCF. Bishop e3, knight f6. Now this is essentially offering a draw. But we're going to assume that white has better than, to play for a draw. The next move I don't like. I don't like b4. It just feels like we don't need that. Like we're really focusing more on the center on the king side in the Mora. I know that you can play like b4, b5, but let me turn off the engine here, not to be Maurice Ashley about it. I would just play like bishop a2, a quiet looking move that threatens knight d5. Concrete threat. I love this threat of knight d5. So in other words, if you get this, I had this happen against Maurice Ashley once where I was black in a Velimirovich. We had this kind of thing happen, and then basically my first game with Maurice, I defended and drew a bad structure where it looked, like this, more or less. it wasn't comfortable for black. You don't really like having this. You don't, and ironically, Maurice actually used to play the Smith-Morra. One of the only strong masters I know who literally played the Smith-Morra. But even that's like defensible for black. You can allow the sacrifice. I mean, Maurice would play the Open Sicilian, but he would also occasionally. I remember him playing the Morra back in that era. In fact, in that era of 19, I probably played Maurice in 1991, 1992, maybe. That game that I'm talking about, where I was black and Velimirovich. Obviously, he didn't always play the Morra because I had a Velimirovich against him with black. So clearly, you can't play the white side of Velimirovich if you're playing the Morra every day. But I definitely saw him play it against people. But I think it's a good idea to play just the Morra. Hint, hint. Someone on sound. You become too predictable. Playing just the Morra makes you too predictable. All work and no play makes, who, a dull boy. B4. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree, move 11, like, B4, B5 would be more attractive. Everything would be more attractive if black played B6. Definitely. Like, just the C file would be more attractive in general. Wow, so the guy went for this. I mean, this is another argument for bishop A2, right? If bishop A2, this simplification wouldn't be possible. Is it good, though? Can black do this? He can do it. I don't see any tactical refutation. But what do we do now? Do we cash in on what do we do? We're down a pawn. See, that's the freaking problem with the Morra. God damn it, we're down a pawn to begin with. We're down a pawn to begin with, man. If we weren't down a pawn, I'd like our position. Makes this kind of viable. So D5. And now we've got to consider bishop takes D5. There's going to be mayhem in the chat if you don't change the subject. Do we give up our vital bishop? Bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes for connect 4. Connect 4. This looks like a monster piece now. The silent majority. Bishop on C8. Yeah. What about this? I mean, how bad is this? At least we're not down a pawn. I prefer not to be down a pawn. All those in favor of not being down a pawn, raise your hands. Apparently, like knight C3 is really all business. This is a great move. Also, opting to be not down a pawn and not down the bishop pair either.
Well, yes. Yes. Yes.
I opt to not be down a pawn with the white pieces. Bishop E6, knight D5, bishop D5, rook takes D5. So this, we had the best of both worlds. White is able to completely equalize here in this Morra by winning back his pawn and not being down the bishop pair. All right, let's see what the more aggressive approach here is, to not win a pawn back and just have this sort of sketchy Morra pressure with pawn takes, bishop takes. I mean, I admit white has some compensation. These bishops are well placed, centrally. And then E5, which strikes me as a kind of major move. Freedom for the bishop at the cost of losing D5. Welcome to my stream, guys. Happy Halloween. Bob came as himself today. No need for a costume. All right. Bishop takes E4. I'm concerned about the central square D5 pressure. Bornaki, good to see you. Welcome, guys. Happy Halloween. We're still on our first game. I usually get started kind of slowly. We still have room for another game analysis or two, hopefully. Double fisting it here. We have coffee and beer, as always. All right, how much compensation do we have for said pawn? Someone on sound, you're the expert. I'm a little concerned about f5, frankly, my dear. Roll them. You know, these pawns are going to roll pretty fast and pretty hard. Who? Sorry, I never heard of him. E5. Probing. How about f5? Why don't we go for it here? Can you give me one good reason why we should not go for f5? Stuke's got to be trolling me. All right, I'm not even going to answer that. I think f5 looks good. So the computer turns into like Nimzovich here. Bishop takes c6. What did I just do? Bishop takes c6, bc, bishop c5. A purist positional approach. LPDO. Loose pawns drop off. Well, that would certainly eliminate the bishop pair, you know. White is okay. Alright, so it's a tough call. Black plays cautiously with h6. Bishop takes c6. Notice how the computer wants to play bishop d5. Bishop d5 with the idea of bishop takes h6. That is so nasty. You know, if you had an extra tempo, just hypothetically, right? Rook b8, bishop takes h6. Like, you gotta take your chances of getting this in. Bishop takes h6 with the threat of that. That's just worth... It's a cheapo... It's kind of a cheapo worth trying for on bishop d5 here. Mr. Coffee, thanks for the donation. Queen e4. There's still some developmental issues with the queen side for black. Alright, so all of white's pieces look good. And his structure's better. So he managed to retain an advantage. Yeah, black did not impress his last couple moves. Rook d8 feels kind of weird to leave the king side unprotected. Black needs to give the pawn back. In the words of John Fedorovich, you know, you give the pawn back against the Mora. The moral gambit. Last US bound donation. I'm tired of being bound. I want to get out of here. Thank you. Bishop g4. I want to get this out of here too. We can't play bishop g4. That's the virtue of queen e4, actually. This is a nice move. I think we should give queen e4 a lot of credit. This is a great move. Is that number one move according to the engine? It is. It's a terrific move by white. You know, most people would just materialistically cash in on c6. We've got to give white credit for finding queen e4. Power of the queen centralization. I'm not crazy about rook d8. You know, I don't know what black should do here. This is getting kind of awkward. I mean, what would happen if f5 you just play queen takes e5, I assume? Yeah. Black has played some ugly move here. Look, you have the choice of two bishops. This one, yeah, that looks great. And this one. Either way, your bishops are like awful. Battle of the bad bishops. So he plays rook d8, and this is just like maybe better for white now. Yeah. You're just going to have to play a kind of slightly ugly position for black. Black has good chances to fight for a draw, even if he loses a pawn. Especially if there's no knights on the board. So we went into an endgame, and he didn't even win the pawn back. I feel like Slow Hand got cheated or something. Like he didn't even get his pawn. Oh, he did get his pawn back. All right, sorry. Knight c6, bishop there, bishop there, bishop there, knight there. Okay, beautiful endgame. Capablanca versus Floor Capablanca. Oh man, what's going on? So there's a back rank mate. This is classic, right? Capablanca Floor Queen's Gambit. Wow. Rook c7 is a massive threat. So, my god. The computer is looking at king f8, rook c7, bishop g4, f3, bishop c8. What a cool idea. To see this idea of the sneaky like bishop g4 and rook c8 to exploit the back rank. I feel like we've been bamboozled. Basically, Slow Hand knew if he plays rook c7, black will play rook c8 and force the exchange of rooks off. It may not be enough to win. Yeah, well, the computer also liked f3. The king approaches on the dark squares, and that seems to be slightly better than king f1. But I don't think that we can really, like, you know, stress how difficult this is to win. Even though it's optically good for white, it's not an easy endgame to win. It may not even be winning. Bamboozled. It's bamboozled, like you. f3. Another interesting move is rook c5 at some point. This is probably still a draw, though, if black defends perfectly. But now it looks like black's out of the woods, the proverbial woods. Tiger Woods. Okay, there's still plenty of ways for either way, you know, either side to lose. More likely white than black, but yeah, I wanted to play rook c3 and rook e3, but black has time for rook e4. Maybe here, you know, you should play f3. Nobody said this position is winning. By the way, Antonio. I mean, Stuk. Sorry, Antonio. I don't think it's winning. You know, white's just better. It's not winning. This bishop really sort of shut white down. It should be a draw, probably. And not a bad practical decision by black to keep the rook on. He may be pushing for something with a5. That doesn't work tactically, though. Maybe I'm not sure where the rook should actually go. Huh. If you do trade rooks here, I mean, it's kind of torturous, but I think that black should hold. The other thing with trading rooks, it would force the white king all the way back to the back rank. I believe this is a draw. King f8. Yeah, there's a famous Capablanca Floor game. It was like king on d6, bishop on d7. Pretty much similar. Although I don't think that black is happy about having that pawn on a6 on a white square. Right. Yeah, Capablanca drew. And it's not a win, you know, it's not a win. But I think the pawn is happier on a7. Probably the best formation with black would be to like have king d6, bishop d7, and then the rest of the pawns more on dark squares than white squares. Bishop on d7, king on d6, active king, bishop sort of dominating the knight on d4, and it's hard to make progress. So, WJ Loof, thank you. 200 bits. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to take forever. It's a tough call. I think that principally speaking, Black is probably doing the right thing by not trading rooks, but you got to be really worried about that rook invasion. I'd be a lot more comfortable playing rook b8 if I had my king on f8 already here. What about rook e7? I mean, the point is that a5 is his idea, but it doesn't work because of knight c6. Because of the placement of the rook on b8, the knight c6 fork just kills it. So I just have difficulty understanding why white doesn't play rook e7 here. It's too late now for black to stop the invasion. I think if I'm black here, I probably would have traded rooks and taken my chances here. Please comment on last night's World Series game. Worst managerial decision I've ever seen, Bob. You got the best pitcher in baseball warmed up, and you don't put him in when you need him. Because we're going to save him for the 9th inning or something. We're going to put in the guy who gave up a home run last night. Because one wasn't enough. Like, I was joking about it with Weedmaster as soon as they put Will Harris in. I said, oh great, they want him to give up a home run or something. On the first pitch, he gave up a home run. You know, it was like, it was an instant replay from the day before. I was like, are you kidding me? Dude, it was the worst managerial decision in baseball of all time. I think that A.J. Hinch will be a great fit for the New York Mets. That's my last comment on the discussion, dude. They should totally fire him and send him to the New York Mets. He'll bring them up to above 500. Anyway, rook e1, rook b8, rook e3, king f8, stopping rook e7. So this got weird quickly here. He trapped the bishop. I mean, I have no idea what's going on here. You got this square, this square. I wouldn't blame Verlander, you know. I don't think Verlander is the problem. I think he didn't have the great World Series or whatever. It's just that you can't put that dude in, you know. There was no reason for that. Will Harris, dude, whatever. All right. Rook b6, knight a5, bishop a2, king c3, rook f6, rook e2, bishop b1, king d4. Active king. This is very awkward. Oh my god. Our rook's almost trapped on e5. Black actually lost on time. Well, I mean, you have to remember that Greinke, the last time he pitched, he only lasted 4.5 innings. He hadn't been that good, you know, so they felt like they were... I didn't have a problem with taking Greinke out. It was marginal. But if you do take him out, you know... Before the World Series, before the last game, the commentators were talking about it, and Big Hurt was like, "I'll never can put in Garrett Cole. I would never put in Garrett Cole ever. You got to protect him for his $35 million salary." I was like, "Whatever, dude." Everybody else you got to put him in. It's the World Series, Game 7. You know, everyone disagreed with Big Hurt, and I did too. You know. Just don't understand it. It's the World Series. But we'll never know what would have happened. There's no way that they're hitting a home run off Garrett Cole on the first pitch, you know? It's just so messed up. Anyway, guys, weird ending to this game here. I feel like Black has misplayed the whole position. But he still might not be lost. That's where it stands, you know. Black has kind of messed it up a little bit, but he still may not be lost. I mean, this rook is awkward on e5. How do we get the rook back in the game? We're going to have to recirculate knight b3, knight c5, bail it out. You have to be careful the rook doesn't get trapped by like f6 or some weird move. Obviously, it's easier to play for white. Good game. Good game, but I would have liked to have seen it played out. What's the final evaluation? +1? A lot more, +2.5. Wow. Computer really likes this. If we go back a couple moves to this position, I didn't think that it was that bad. I didn't like bishop a2. I thought he went off the rails with bishop a2. Yeah, this is insane. This is like AJ Hinch playing black. I mean, this is like the decision last night in the World Series. You can this is Will Harris. This is like putting in Osuna, and this is like Garrett Cole over here. I think I'm gonna put in Will Harris. Just like resign for no reason. He was under heavy pressure. Yeah, no. Good game by white. All right. Let's see. Jim is up next. That was a long game analysis. Jim is up next. A blast from the past. Your first and last ever over the tournament game in a FIDE Open tournament. Never say never would be my first reaction to this. Jim is still young. Younger than me, probably. My first and last ever over the board game in a FIDE Open tournament 15 years ago. Never say never. Being unrated, I faced a 2,000 plus in the first round. How's Greece doing in the European Team Championship, by the way? Do you watch that stuff? Do you keep track of that kind of stuff? I noticed recently there's a really high-rated Greek woman. I don't really follow like younger players that much, but there's that. I don't know her name because Greek names are too long for me to remember. But you're probably familiar. You disqualified already? Disqualified. Disqualified. They disqualified you from Europe, or what happened? They just didn't play. Too much disorganization or something. A lot of countries don't have the money to send or don't even sponsor their teams for like the European Team Championship. Well, I wouldn't like expect Greece to make the finals, but they could have a decent team. All right, so anyway, this is Jim's first and last tournament game. D4. You're playing white and you're playing D4. That's funny. I thought he's a good e4 player. He's a so-so b3 player. I think he's a good e4 player, a so-so he's a good e4 player, so-so b3 player, but I never recall you playing d4. Do you? Did you play d4 against me? You were playing 70% d4. Interesting. You do like a poker thing. You like look at your watch. If it's at the one hand, you play d4. If it's on the two hand, you play d4. If it's at you check on your watch like where it is, and you make your decision based on that. Or how do you do it? 70%, 30. 1 through 10. Oh, it's okay. G6, knight c3, d5, c takes d5, knight takes d5, e4. So we get to see like the bishop c4 classical exchange Grunfeld, which Sladgie doesn't play anymore. I used to play this back in the good old days when I was playing the Grunfeld with black. I would play my best friend, who I've talked about, He was a big Karpov fan. I used to play the Grunfeld up until I was about master, off and on, until I started playing the King's Indian. We had a lot of battles because of Karpov Kasparov, but this is much later now. This is Jim 15 years ago. This variation has sort of come back into fashion a little bit, but he doesn't play the theoretical continuation. I know this is, okay, 2005. Did you not know theory or what? You played knight f3 here? So he just like doesn't know book. He played knight f3. You have to play knight e2. He's just a noob. This was your lie? It's not the Seville variation because he played knight f3. Okay, so he plays like he's pretending to be a noob. The pretending I'm a noob variation, you know, this is more effective if you like make 2 moves in a row. If you really want to be convincing in your first tournament game, you should do what I did, you know, try to make 2 moves. You shouldn't play knight f3 and castle on the same turn, and then your opponent will like totally think you're an idiot, and you'll win for sure. Someone's suggesting bishop e3. You know, the normal move order is knights before bishops, knight e2 followed by bishop e3. So knight f3, c5, castles, and no, it's not supposed to be anything, so we'll see. Right, like if you're black here, generally speaking, like you don't want to release the tension unless you have a good reason to. So I'm skeptical of c takes d4. Yeah, I mean, it goes back way before Karpov, Aim High Soldier. It's been like the main line of the Grunfeld since like probably the 50s or something. All right. So I don't really like trading, you know, if I can avoid it. But I guess he's going to play cd4, knight c6. But if you play knight c6 right away, how does white maintain the center, you know? I guess this is theoretically the best. You know, then what do? Like on bishop e3, bishop g4. And see, like, these dudes had to go like e5 because they ran out of ways to protect e4. I don't know what your system is here, Jim. It's Jim's secret system. They will never know. C takes d4, c takes d4, bishop g4. I mean, I think that for one thing, white could play bishop b2 here. You know, I guess it's like bishop takes f3. I mean, theoretically anyway. How bad is this for white? It may not be that bad. So rook, bishop e3, okay. And then this move. Not really a great use of time, I would say. A6 is a little suspicious. I'm not sure about rook b1. You're basically forcing him to do what he was planning anyway. I thought he was going to play b5. Weird. If b5, what do you do? Do you come back to e2 and play normal chess? Or are you intending to like bother him with like bishop d5, rook a7? Yeah, because the bishop get kind of stuck there. That might not be so bad for black. But I think he screwed up with a6. Like these other guys. I mean, there is the possibility now, because of this exchange, you know, that on d5 we could get an exchange sack. Some sort of bishop takes a1, queen takes a1 type of thing. I mean, this is actually, you know, I mean, white might have compensation here for real, for the sacrificed exchange. Of course, there's less pieces than in the normal lines where this is sacrificed. But a6 is bad, for sure. So this is the game. Poor black. He played a6, and then he played knight c6, and then he brought his knight back to its original square with knight b8. Really, I lost a lot of time in this game. I wasted time with a6. Jim's opponent was named George Alexopoulos. Rook takes b7, queen c8, queen b3. A brave decision allowing the king side to be damaged. That will change the game. So black has sort of hope, right? Queen h3, some sort of nonsense. Although one piece alone is not going to be able to hurt you. The queen, the queen, the queen. Black is threatening like a perpetual, I guess, with queen h3, bishop e5, f4, queen g4 check. Theoretically. He surprises me. Black surprises me at every turn. I really thought he was going to go for this. And like play for a perpetual check with bishop e5. He wouldn't like perpetual, so he was all or nothing. It's too late for black to play for a win. You have to ask yourself, is black playing for a win or a loss here? Alright, so now we get to kind of technical situation. This is not so easy if you're not Magnus Carlsen. Juicebox Wizard, good to see you. Okay, guys, let's move it along. Nothing to see here. So this is the first moment where Jim gets really creative. And he shows his tactical flair. You know, black expecting retreat. Actually, he was reckless. You know, this move was much stronger. Locking down the dark squares. You can rest assured that I would have played bishop e5. Even though I had the engine turned on. I mean, I just would strive for the dark squares. That's essential. You know, this is a totally unnecessary move by black. And it's not the first time f7 has fallen. In a Grunfeld. It is a classic weak point in the Grunfeld, f7. So Jim finds this nice tactic here. Pawn takes pawn, bishop f7, king h8. I guess black figured everything's cool, you know, everything's cool. I'm afraid rook d5 is going to be a factor when the last Jim piece gets in the game. You know, I mean, I already envisioned this, Jim. After king h8, I'm already looking at bishop takes g6. Unfortunately, he has like queen g5 check. Because there's fantasy variations. It's important when you analyze that you use fantasy variations to kind of develop your ideas. Hypothetically, if this, there's a very nice idea like rook d5. And the follow-up would be, you know, queen wherever, rook h5 check, pawn takes pawn, queen takes, bishop h6, queen h6, illegal. You can't mate here because of the illegal move factor. But if you could, it would be mate. But Jim's looking for those rook d5 ideas, right? It's close. It's close. I feel it coming. Bishop takes g6. Bishop takes g6 right here. Oh my god. Could that work? So the problem is he would sack all his pieces. If bishop g6, hg6, rook h5 check, pawn takes, queen f7, how does black defend? You guessed it, rook g8. Also, queen takes b7 is pretty good too. So we're close, but nothing there yet. Bishop e6. Man, if your king was like somewhere else, if the king was on, I guess, h1, you know, that really might work. That'd be beautiful. All right, here, rook a5, calling a timeout. Queen e8, rook d7, rook d8, queen b7, and the endgame. Oh no, it's a Magnus Carlsen-esque endgame. I didn't expect obstacle or bishop endgame when you submitted this game. Wow. HTFP. It's his favorite type of position. Rook a8, bishop c6, rook a7, f4. This is key. The king comes in. We've got moving pawns, no dark square blockade. The great position for white. Very, very good winning chances. Pawn up, ops color, bishops, and rooks. It's very important to know that in some positions, like exchange sacrifices are useful. You're just picking this off and going the ops color bishop endgame. He does not trade. I mean, probably white's winning. This pawn outside is huge, but is it enough, guys? Black's still playing for a win, right? Is this enough? Is this a win? I'm a little concerned about the double pawns. Like bishop d8, bishop d4, staying on f2. It's win-ish. Win-ish or winning, because I'm not sure. Many a bishop endgame is drawn 2 pawns down and ops color bishops. I don't know what the final word is on this. You'd have to subject it to a lot of analysis. I have the feeling black has good chances to hold a draw here. He'd have to play very precisely. And, I mean, honestly, like bishop b5, bishop e8, it's not that easy. But at the same time, white's tied down to f2 and or f4. I strongly suspect this is probably a draw. That's the classic like engine draw evaluation, about 1.6. Probably a draw. Black was too proud to play for a draw. We get this a lot, especially with the Greek players. Too proud to play for a draw. It's more honorable to lose. I have a friend who's like that too. It's not honorable to play for a draw. And now it's HTFP. He's from Albania, even worse. I heard they're really crazy. He's probably even less fond of draws. I had a friend who had Albanian friends. Said their parties were nuts. Okay. King h6. a4, h4. This doesn't look good. Weakening the white squares. I also don't like f5. What's up with Jim? f5. I would just improve my king here. Try to get my king up. But this is good. You undoubled your pawn. So now it's a win. Like, it's definitely a win. You have a free pawn over here and a second free pawn over here. Passed pawn in English. In Germany, it's called, like, free Bauer, right? So I'm borrowing their words. I think it's a win, you know, definitely now. I mean, no question. This is no question winning. That's 3. Well, it's over now. Oh, Maybe there's a technical problem. I thought this is just easily winning. Look, you have great chances even if you lose the exchange there, but that's not really what we want to do. I mean, I assume that we're winning anytime we have 2 extra pawns separated and pretty far separated. The separation. But this like walks into this pin here with bishop e5. It looks like you might have to play king elsewhere. Oh, you've rook g4 check, of course, so you're just totally winning. After king g2. I didn't see it either. It's just the fact that you had this rook check. Because on king g4, bishop e5 is getting kind of messy. Or just takes. It's still messy. But king g2 just wins easily. Now you're not worse, but I'm not sure you're winning. I bet you that Magnus Carlsen could win this against Karyakin in a rapid play. But it feels like a draw. Yeah, this is kind of tricky, you know, but I don't know, you know, now how do you lose? You just have to kind of admit that it's a draw. You're losing ground now. Oh my god. Stealing defeat from the jaws of victory. I think Karyakin could lose it, you know. I mean, I don't know. It's like what he does against Carlsen in drawn endings. What most people do against Carlsen in drawn end games. I mean, Carlsen, my joke is that he's like 100 of his rating points are from like winning drawn end games against people. Probably. If it wasn't for drawn end games, Carlsen would be like 27-75. Yeah, it's over. Poor Jim. That's sad, man. That was your first game. HTFP, you didn't submit a game. It's not too late, though we're kind of slow today. We'll try to get it in if you submit a game. All right, Nefedov. Nefedov. Where is he? There he is. You're first and last. I can see how that's discouraging, dude. You were just totally winning. I drew my first tournament game. But you said like FIDE rated, right? Did you play national rated games? Does that count, or is that... I'm curious. Do you have like a national rating? He needs a hug after that game. 5 national games, 5 wins. Nefedov against Chess Dweeb. Was this like a blitz simul? No, 40 plus 3. 3. Chess 960. I think I saw this. I think I saw this Nefedov's history for some reason. I just randomly clicked on this and checked it. I think I saw he did this, yeah. I looked at this game before, ironically. Once in a while, Nefedov's on my friends list, so I'll just happen upon Nefedov's playing a Chess 960 simul game. And he's white. Nefedov, did we ever play Chess 960? I can't remember. E4. Let's check the Chess 960 opening database here. I'm curious. I'm terrible at Chess 960 openings. Nefedov finds the best move for white on move 1. Nefedov clearly using the Chess 960 opening book to his advantage. No, I don't know. No, G3 is a very logical move. I'm just kidding. But I think that knight F3 also, and even F4, to me, appeals. You could play it kind of... It feels like the bird's opening works really well in Chess 960. This is just a kind of birds. Everything turns into a closed Sicilian. Knight F3, G3. Hey, this will work. Just that our king is over here. I call this the car structure. The lid, there's the car. Shaped like a car. All right, G3. D5, very professional move. And now E4. Surprisingly energetic move from Nefedov against the title player. I mean, you're going to lose a tempo with this move in order to open the lines. It's opening the rook for the opponent. So this is a kind of controversial move. It's almost like playing the Scandinavian or something. So if it was me, I would play like F4 probably. And they were following a game until this move. Some random chess 960. It's interesting. So chess dweeb goes with bishop c6 here. Totally logical move. It's like a Fort Knox French. I like it. This other player played knight c6, but I mean, you're bottled up with that bishop on e8. I actually like chess dweeb's move better. Makes a lot of sense to me. Nefedov just developing. It's cool submitting a chess 960. I like analyzing it better than playing, to be honest. HCFP, I disagree. I mean, I agree. I don't know how to say the difference. No, I agree with you. I don't like how lichess only lets you use 30 seconds to make your first move in 960. Yeah, it is annoying. I don't like it either. I think it's totally arbitrary and stupid. That's it's to prevent people from, I guess, timing out or just like wasting everybody's time. I don't see why they couldn't make it a little longer, at least like a minute. Nefedov, you're playing black. Oh my god. I thought you were playing white. Dude. Why didn't you correct me already? Let me go like 7 moves before telling me. It's all your fault. D5. I thought that E4 was strange for Nefedov, actually. I thought that was a strange move by you. Even though I'd seen the game before, I didn't really think about who was what color. But I thought E4 was strange from Nefedov, opening up the position early like that. It didn't feel like his style. No, this is chess dweeb, and he's trying to be, active. I agree, it's kind of a little too provocative. It's like the Scandinavian or something. Anyway, it's okay for both sides. I like Nefedov's novelty here. Bishop c6. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the engine best move. It is. In the top 2. I definitely like it better than this name, Cable Guy. The Cable Guy played bishop c6, but no, sorry, knight c6. I like this better. Knight c3. Maybe we can keep the tension here. I don't know. Perhaps. Perhaps you could play, and the big question is, do you want to play e5 or e6 for black here structurally? E6 seems a lot more solid. Excuse me. It seems a lot solid. E5 is much riskier. No risk, no reward, huh? Necessary. It transposes to regular chess. Yeah, it almost does. But you'll see there is a trick here. A little later, the chess dweeb will actually castle, which always throws me off in chess 960. It's this weird late castling, like one square bothers me. It's hard to, I guess everyone. I'm not in love with chess dweeb's f4. Obviously, he's already got a lot of pawns on dark squares. Like the majority of his pawns are Republican. And when he plays f4, there was less control of the democratic squares. But it's space. It's about controlling e5. There's an argument. Yeah, maybe, Bob. I don't know. I'm just trying to be funny. One or the other. It's polarized anyway. We should analyze which should be Republican, which should be Democrat. In honor of today's impeachment inquiry beginning, we should make one color officially Republican, one color officially Democrat. On the chessboard, f4 though, and Nefedov just pounces like a tiger. Cat DNA. Knight e3. Triple attack on d4. The tactical Nefedov pouncing. Yeah, Nancy is tucked away there. Nancy is safe from a distance. But I think f4 weakened Nancy's increased Nancy's exposure. It'd be funny if we did a whole stream like as a political parodia. There's also this knight just maneuver and repost to f5. Chess Dweeb's king looks more exposed than white. This is looking really good for Nefedov. That bad bishop on e1 seems to be the biggest issue. What would happen? Like, you can't castle because like what can he castle? He can't castle. What's he gonna do? Yeah, Nefedov, good eye. He defends everything. And Nefedov just immediately cashes. Grandmaster trade pieces. I don't know if you have an option though. Do you have another option? Can't castle because there's a rook on d1, right? He can still castle both ways. Wait to move. Can I castle here? How do you propose castling? Is it legal to castle here for white? I don't even know. I don't ever play chess 960. I'm confused. I feel like an idiot. He can't. I thought he couldn't castle here, right? I mean, it's legal to castle, but he can't castle. Right. Requires moving the bishop first. No. Is that it? Bishop f2. Knight f2. I don't know about this. We're trading for that. King b8. Nefedov manually castled. I mean, can't we play like rook d7 and then, we'll be able to castle? That's how it works. You can't castle if your rook is on the castling square, was my assumption here. But he could castle kingside. He could castle kingside. I think that's our problem. We're talking about castling queenside. I never had any intention of castling kingside for white because it's so weird. Yeah, no, he can castle right. If you move the bishop, of course. If you move the bishop, he can castle kingside. Yeah. I know that, but I was trying to think. I wanted to castle queenside. That was my whole point, for white. I want to castle queenside, not castle kingside. I think primarily because I want the rook to be on the d file, So what you could do is like next move play rook d2, like I was kind of suggesting for Nefedov here. Knight f2, queen f2, king b8, rook d2. I like this. And now Nefedov, your move. I guess something like queen b4 might be dangerous with the quadruple attack on d4. The king and rook will trade places in this case. Like hypothetically, right? Now we're going to castle. See? Now we got everything castled. He has to make the d1 square clear so he can castle. You know, he needs the other rook to be able to go to d1. But instead, Chestweeb did something else. He played, okay, king b8. Nefedov just like, I'm not going to castle, whatever. He could play, like I said, rook b7. But, I mean, maybe that's playing into this knight c5 type of thing. So maybe Nefedov has a little bit of a quandary. I was wondering about queen b4 here, Neffy. Can't you just pound that d4 pawn into the dust? What's happening? Somehow it's like miraculously okay for white. I mean, it looks like he should be screwed. Like this pawn should be gone. Yeah. All right. King b8. Nefedov tried to castle, but he couldn't because his rook was on d8. Knight e4. And now white has some kind of advantage. I thought, okay, the Grandmaster's starting to play now. He's got the kind of bind on the center, a little space advantage. Nefedov has been unable to free himself with any sort of c5 or e5 breaks. And now his bishop becomes kind of pawn-like, despite being a so-called good bishop. It looks like the critical test would have been, seriously, to play queen b4 Nefedov. This put some pressure on him. I wasn't sure, like, in the event of a3, maybe you can even play, like, queen c4. Probing the weaknesses. If b3, fine. But you get him to soften up his position. What's he going to do? Put his king on b2 on this diagonal? I mean, hey, good luck with that. I'm sure nothing bad will ever happen. I really like queen b4. King b8 was a castling. Artificial castling. Never happened to me. And then c3. So Chestweeb is better. And then there's h6 to cover the knight g5. And then h4, which I thought was reactionary by Chestweeb. Totally reactionary move. I think if it was me playing white, I would be more concerned about my... I know that it's a fast time control and he's playing a simul, but I'd be more concerned about my king, not worried about h4. Like, g5 is not a threat. I don't think it's... Is it really a threat? Maybe it is. Maybe it's a threat, because he's got bishop h6. All right, h4. Here was a good move by Nefedov, artificially castling. And then a4 is a good move by Chestweeb. But it's arbitrary. I mean, it does weaken the white king. I'm not sure you have to play a4 here. That was a little reactionary. Maybe he should let you play, like, a4. I would say just, like, king c2, you know, is an option for white. Computer doesn't like this move at all. All right, anyway, a4 is all right. Rook a6. Yeah, now there's this visitor. Man, that's awkward, Nefedov. What are you going to do about the knight on c5? I don't like that, dude. Nefedov somehow navigates with a rook on b6 and a knight on c5. This knight is... Man, the knight is very upsetting. Very disturbing. Queen f3. It's like an acerbate style plan to attack b7. And so he figures everything's fine, h5. Again, I want my king on c2, I think, if I'm white here, to connect my rooks, if nothing else. He plays h5, e5, and Nefedov just pulls a tactic out of his butt. That's the surprising move. Another reason why king c2 would have been a good move. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that my intuition is good. Like, I wanted to play king c2 even before a4, honestly. I mean, this should have been played. This should have been played, you know, and then there's, like, no real danger. If there's any trick-or-treaters, the Weed Master can hand out some some vape cartridges or something, I guess. Queen f3. I think he's actually got some candy in case of emergency. So you can take your choice. Vaping cartridges or candy. Or weed. All kinds of goodies here. Rook b6, queen f3, queen d6. h5, and he just misses the Nefedov. Tactic. Bang. But still, you know, Danish like stays with the knight on c5. Everything's protected for the most part, and White's position is still fairly cohesive. There goes the white squares. You know, so Nefedov, I mean, it doesn't look like a big deal. You know, he kind of like got, okay, what's next? You got an e5, but you still didn't make that much progress project. But Nefedov goes to the knight on c5 now. And there's a dubious for chess dweeb with knight d7, but I mean, okay, what do you want him to play now? Maybe knight d3? Knight d3. Nefedov could start getting evil with like c5. He could start turning into like Gru. Sounds like Gru already. He could get aggressive. I don't know if that's his style to play like c5. Should have got Ponda costume, if nothing else. Very solid play by Nefedov. And now the E file is just fatal. It looks like fatal. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. In honor of Halloween. The E file. I don't understand how chess dweeb, it's move 24 and now he's finally playing, you know, he never played King C2. This was sloppy. He did not respect Nefedov. Nefedov probably has like a 1500 0 rating in Chess 960. He sort of underestimated Nefedov. Going after pawns. Damn, he's threatening what? So chess dweeb did finally castle. I thought you had something stronger. Nefedov just goes to the endgame. And eventually a little tactic. Got kind of lucky there. Still doesn't win by force. The longer that Nefedov like struggles here, the better chances he'll make some sort of blunder. Many times he had winning positions against me and kind of panicked and blitz or something. He's a good player, but he does sometimes lose it in time pressure. And there goes the H pawn. That's powerful. Ouch. That's like an extra piece. Game over. I would have just taken on d4. I don't understand Nefedov. I mean, I know you're trained on the g3 pawn, but I mean, that's a strong knight. Just take it. See, this became a nasty little threat. And Danish started to get a little bit of counterplay. There's that pawn. Just unnecessary counterplay. This move is, I guess, why we're here, right? Nefedov sacrificing his queen temporarily. Beautiful tactic. Oh my god. So it doesn't work because at the end of the day, Danish is going to have this pawn on d7 that you can't stop. Wow. That's funny. So it's like a comic tragic endgame. I still think like this was just silly. Like you just take on d4. There should be no question about that. That's like an automatic move under all circumstances. You are completely winning in every position with the pawn on h3. This is like a no-brainer. You automatically play bishop takes d4. I would never ever consider another move in that position. It just has to be automatic win. To let that knight stay on the board, it became a wild card. and this was like a desperate attempt. And Nefedov freaks out with queen e2. It's a nice idea. I mean, you see queen e2, bishop c3 check. You know, knight takes c3. Obviously, we're winning in that case, right? Rook e2, knight e2, and our pawn queens. So it turns out there's another idea, though. Queen e2, bishop c3, king c3, and if rook e2, d7, you can't stop the pawn. Whoops. Yep. Didn't see that, but white didn't see it either. Played knight takes c3. They both had tons of time. Actually, Nefedov didn't have tons of time. He was in time pressure, thus the blunder. But Danish had 9. But it's a simul, he has to play fast, you know. So he just went on to lose. Anticlimactic endgame. That was entertaining, Nefedov. Thank you. Good. We'll do another Chess 960 soon sometime. All right, we'll get to those games maximum, Save a Dog and Stoke if I can. All right, let's move it along. Move it along here. Almost spilled my beer. The last time that happened, it was a disaster. That was a full one, though. Okay, Astrobait's up. Guys, thanks for joining me and supporting the stream. Let's get some donations going. We had a few. Jim is the gift leader. Mr. Slowhand wasn't here, right? He was not here to see his game. I know it's late for the European guys. Don't forget, no stream between the... What am I saying? Between the 2nd and the 9th of November. No streams between the 2nd and the 9th. No simul this weekend. Friday, tomorrow is our last stream until I move back to Hungary. The 10th will be my next. Asabit, where the heck is your game? There it is. Is that it? 31 hours ago? No. Yeah, maybe that's it. Italian game. Thursday commentary game submission. Oh, it's a quick one. Cool. We got... Bob, you have lots of other streamers you hate but love to troll to keep you busy. Just troll some hated streamers or something. Jim just gifted a tier 1 sub to Saeed TZ. Saeed TZ, I didn't see Saeed. Oh, he said hi everyone, by the way. I know that Saeed, we had a Saeed visiting the stream before. I'm not sure if you're the same one. Man, Jim, very generous, sir. Up to 27 gift subs. We love Jim. He's number 1 in our book. The same. All right. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6. Astrobait's favorite move, bishop C4. Italian game. And black thinks he's playing, wait, it's the Roy Lopez. I've literally never seen anyone play that. That is messed up. I have literally never stopped to think about this move or seen someone play it. I mean, I don't play really the Italian game with white, but that's funny. It's like you played the Spanish, black played a6, you retreated your bishop c4, and you get a free move too. How awesome is that? You know? That is awesome. You know, the regret, it's like the player who plays the Spanish but has a sudden pang of regret, like he doesn't really want to play the Spanish. All right, no, you get a second chance. You get bishop c4 and you get a free move too. It's a 2-for-1 deal. I'll take it. The free move. This is awesome. Free move variation. So, Astrobate, what are our options? When the opponent gives you a free move in an open position, what do you do? Astrobate, I'm asking you. Opponent gives you a free move in an open position, what do you do? Open it up, right? We want to open it up. So I think that I like d4. I don't know how, but according to the opening explorer, Tom Rendell had a game in this position. How this happened in a tournament game, I don't fully understand, but apparently it did. Yeah. Yeah, that's a famous clip there, Stook, right? Thanks for sharing. Sharing is caring. Is that a new one or the old one? The highly debated. Bob will get excited. Don't start. It's Halloween, I know, but let's try to behave. C3. So this is second best move, probably C3. But I think the problem here is like you might really regret. You might really regret not playing D4, man. You know, the guy played E takes D4 against Rendell. I mean, Rendell just castled. This is good. Also C3 now, probably a very strong move. Was it my exact words? Were those my exact words, dude? Really? You think so little of me? You don't want to reveal my exact words. No, you'd ruin my reputation. Alright. I like the way that Rendell played, you know, obviously. C3, slow. So, and you're giving black a chance to kind of revert back to some sort of lame, playable position. Something in between. Man, it's the Norwegian variation, but worse. B5 is a little suspicious. You could probably play bishop takes f7 check here and have some compensation for it, you know? That doesn't mean that it's good. Actually, isn't this just crushing like bishop d5? We introduce acerbate to the bishop d5 concept. So what's going to happen after knight e7 becomes the million-dollar question. Knight e7, knight e5, knight d5, knight c6, dc6. That's messed up. Check this out. Here, you could play the positional approach. Queen b3. Knight d5 with the queen, please. Please pass the grey poupon. Can you please pass the grey poupon with queen d5? No, this isn't enough. I was looking at this, and then this, and it's nothing, right? This is just bad. Not good. Is bishop d5 even a good move? Wow, the engine just says you just castle. Apparently this is good. Interesting. Bob, you have a very vivid imagination. Sorry for you, man. But at least it keeps you from getting bored. Bishop b3. d6. Never one to hold a grudge. d4. Oh my god. I like queen f6 as a good try. You know, once again, the bishop d5 idea rears its ugly head. But it's not convincing. I like d4 Astrobate. It's a good move. But here you just, you know, just kind of made this... Well, actually, castles is alright. I don't mind castles. The next move is weird. Bishop e7. Queen g6. Bishop e7. This is stupid. Bishop g5. You should know, if anybody, you should know not to do this. With bishop g5, you're just trading pieces for the opponent. You're just helping him trade off pieces, I think, with bishop g5. It's frustrating, though, that there's no like direct win for white anywhere to be had here that I can see. It just doesn't look like there's anything to break through. I mean, maybe you could do something like open up the queen side, a4. It just seems kind of slow. I think going back, I like d4. On queen f6, we've got to find a good plan. You're still surprised we haven't seen Merle? What's the big deal about Merle, JCS? You have some kind of conspiracy theory? Like, because it's Halloween? Then he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? White's needing to open the position here. I just don't see how to do it. Damn it. I don't get it. Like, the engine's giving white a huge advantage of +2, but I don't really see it. Is there something here with knight g5, knight h6? Can we turn it into a king's gambit? The mother of all king's gambits? Or something with f4? Demetrius would like that. He's not here today. I just don't see anything. I just don't see anything. What is the deal here? Yeah, f4, I don't know. It's a little early there. I mean, maybe now it has some power. Knight h6, f4. This is starting to look interesting. I did not see this PGS Soccer Rook. Dubov Novelty may have refuted the anti-martial. Well, the Weedmaster tried to play... he was always trying to play d5 anyway. He did it against Patrick Wolf, but it wasn't the a3 line. It was something else. Weedmaster's a big martial head from way back. I think that he tried to do it against a4, right? Tried to play the martial anyway. Yeah, maybe there's some interesting stuff there. Sounds like a good game to check out. I love Dubov. He's a really, really enterprising, creative player. He's got a lot of ideas. I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, this looks really strong. Let's check this. This is a nice King's Gambit for white. It looks like this would be an idea to break through with e5 at some point. Computer says he could just sidestep that like a scotch. Wow. There's also this, which I was showing to Astrobate before, bishop d5. But I still don't see an annihilating move. Well, I guess we could just take now. Actually, this is funny. Queen d4, knight d4, bishop a8, knight c2, trapping the rook. Then we have to use the computer to see if we can trap it. Alright, anyway, I like playing in the spirit of the King's Gambit here with knight g5. This is bad. This just does nothing. Astrobate just traded off his worst piece and helped him develop his king side, essentially. It's like, what? I mean, maybe the guy was afraid of bishop d5, but he needs to develop his pieces, and Astrobate was trying to help him. And this also just drops the e5 pawn. Astrobate's favorite move, do you guys know what it is? Does anybody want to guess what Astrobate's favorite chess move is? Bishop e3. You're right, actually. What's his second favorite move? Good job, HTFP. You know the regulars here. What's his second favorite move? Knight h4. Okay, he likes to put his knight on h4. He's big on knight h4. You're going to need to play knight h4 as a defense to bishop h3, presumably, at one moment. Here. You can always play knight e1 if you want to. This is a very important concept in general in the Scotch kind of Sicilian type themes with a knight on g6. Alright. I'm just teasing Asper. He dropped a piece with knight h4 in a recent game. Alright, so in the event of bishop h3, what are we doing here? Play your favorite move. This would buy critical time. And we also have queen f3. That's nice. Anyway, black just didn't even find bishop h3. He just took here. I don't understand what black was doing. What sort of drugs? Made it two. Bang. Good game. Alright, that was eventful. Even though it was only 12 moves, 13 moves, it was actually eventful. Thank you, Asterbait. Move 11 is up next. Usually move 11 has like... There's Merle. We've been waiting for Merle. Now there's conspiracy theories. Merle is really JCS's, like... I think that Merle is really JCS's. His secret account. I thought it was Uber Driver, but it turns out that Merle and JCS are really the same person. JCS just couldn't remember his Merle Dixon password. That's why he kept saying, I wonder where Merle is. I wonder where Merle is. He forgot his password for Merle's account. I don't know. That's a theory anyway. Conspiracy theories are our favorite here. Merle just suddenly showed up after, is it really a coincidence? Repeatedly asking about Merle. Merle just happens to show up right after JCS asked a couple of times, like, where's Merle? Where's Merle today? Very suspicious. Good job, Asterbait. So Merle, thanks for the donation. For Halloween, we've got a zombie donation. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, inquiring minds want to know, Merle. What's up? All right. Well, I mean, they're both strong players, JCS and Merle, and Uber Driver. Not too much information about fuzzy logic. But the other guys are strong. Mr. Coffee, you're Mr. Coffee too? But you're like 200 points higher rated than Mr. Coffee. Mr. Coffee's what, like 1900, 1800? You're a little higher rated. JCS is closer to like 2000. Uber Driver, a little higher. I suspect not Mr. Coffee for being a Smurf account. I think it's JCS. Alright, we got games left. Move 11. I'm waiting, I'm kind of stalling. Move 11's games are usually tough. This is a game... He just played a tournament, guys. Move 11 did well. He finished tied for second in his section at the Eastern Chess Congress. We're disappointed. We're disappointed with the tie for second. He finished with 4 out of 5, though. Alright. Let's take a look at this. Maybe he's not disappointed. I know he could have even won. He could have even won first. Got to find a solution to the Marazzi. Now, which game did you say? Damn it. Ahuya. Okay. Damn it. Jerry. My back button doesn't work. Full-size cups, not the minis. Okay. And this is Bob's conversation. This is number 32. Shakriar Ahuya. I will find out after if Weedmaster had any Halloween trick-or-treaters. He's manning the front door. I'm not expecting any. Okay, so it's the modern defense c6, h3. Move 11 has its own systems. I know that he studied some lines on chess 24. I don't know about this though. Move 11 does a lot of work. He studies a lot. He's also subscribed to chesslecture.com, which I've been working on for years. A lot of knowledge of systems. Actually, though, c6 move 11. I guess he's in the stream. I'm not sure. He was here earlier. h3 is an interesting move order. I've always played knight f3 and on d5, then played h3. I never really considered, playing h3 first. Speaking of soft squares, like if you were to play f4, which move 11 has done in other games I've seen with this h3. Brian Smith apparently, move 11 has seen some videos by him. I mean, when you do h3 and f4 seems kind of weakening, but I think you could do it in tandem with g3, bishop g2. So, I mean, I always play knight f3 in this position. It's the main line. And it's following a famous game that I annotated on my video channel, my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training. Adams versus Bologan. A great game where Mickey just like positionally crushed the guy. I mean, I feel like white is best suited maintaining the tension here. Talking about planets, good one. I've played a lot of games in this line. I don't know much about e5. I mean, this just feels like very similar to the Accelerated Dragon. h5 right away. Okay, so, I mean, I know that h5 is a normal idea in the Gurganidze, but normally you're playing that usually when white plays some setup with f4. I would think that, like, with f4 unplayed, h5 might be a little bit asking a little bit much for black. That's just my surface thought here. This definitely looks like way more flexible to go like knight h6, f6. Not commit to the uber weakening h5. The opening book seems to like that better. I mean, obviously f6 would be the same as doing knight h6, some kind of rat formation. Once I had a game with Joel Benjamin, I've mentioned this on the stream before, it was something like d4, d5, bishop f4. Yes, I played the London system. c6, c3. And then we had some funny game where eventually I ended up playing like e4. It was like g6, and I played e4, e5, and later h3. It was sort of similar, and Joel broke with f6. My bishop's on f4 though. It's a little different, much different position, and the knight's on c3 here. Anyway, that's a side story. h5 I don't like. So this reminds me of that. The NASA astrophysics guy is here. He's excited about Goldilocks. There's a difference between Three Musketeers and Milky Way. There certainly is. Certainly is. I just don't remember what it is now. Something about caramel. Stop talking about candy and food. The Weedmaster has some sort of secret mini candies he's been hiding from me. He's like Montgomery Burns. He like will sparingly, begrudgingly, like he has a whole bag of them. And only like every few days, like you'll see one. Knight f5. Queen d2. Travkina against Gritsaeva. 2017. I like this for white. I really do. Sudden flashback to losing the last time I played the last time I played against the Gurgenidze Karakan was Badea Bela. It was a tournament I played in Romania in like 2012 or something. Maybe it was even earlier. It was probably even earlier. It was probably like 2010. And it was like the 9th round of a 9-round tournament. I hadn't lost a single game the whole tournament. That's always painful. It happens to me a lot, like for some reason. It happened to me in US Championship too. You're like proud you're undefeated the whole tournament and then you lose in the last round. He played this really creepy, weird, Gurgenidze Karakan. It got me to overreach myself. Heath bars, who eats that? We used to we would throw those away when I was a kid, Bob. They would go in the pile of candy you never ate. The freaky neighbors would give you like Heath bars. The people who were like 100 years old. Heath bars, score. Yeah, that was the old people would give you those. Alright, b5. This is weird. I love the way that Wei's playing this. Move 11 is Viktor Kuprejcik. So I can hear move 11 here saying, well, you could play knight e2. Man. All we need to do is open it up and it's over. You know the move that kills the Gurgenidze Karakan, right? It's like c4. If you get in c4, it will be over. And I think you're going to see why it's important not to play h5 for black in positions where white didn't play f4. He has a lot more lively piece play in this position. Look at these pieces. The fact of the matter is that white could play g4 at some point. You know? Anonymous gifter giving a tier 1 sub to Sladgie's community. Thank you, anonymous gifter. Interesting choice. Who is that anonymous gifter, we wonder? This the Nastro physicist, obviously, you know, has a lot of money. He doesn't need a gift sub, but nevertheless, very generous of the gifter. He declined. I thought you declined your Nobel Prize, an astrophysicist. Did you decline your prize? Like Greta Thunberg? You don't accept prizes. Like, change is not about money, right? You don't actually have that much cash on hand because you declined all those scientific awards that came with cash. So the donation does help. Knight d7. e6. Very committal. We don't want to do that unless we're sure about it, but it's obviously a huge idea. I have to say, I love White's position, but I'm not sure how to continue. I really want to get g4 in. You got to look at ways to play g4. I mean, he's ready to play g4. It's ready. It's coming next to a theater near you. Okay? It's coming. Bang. Another Kuprejcik game. How is that possible? He actually has a second game in the same position. What? Like, go back a couple moves here. Look. Is that the same game? Oh, okay. It was the same game. My bad. They transposed back into it. It is the same guy, right? Kichubayev. Kichubayev is out of his mind. He's playing like Pavel Blatny. Pavel Blatny, the grandmaster who gave up openings one day. Black is dead here. It's dead. This has got to be dead. It's like a bayonet King's Indian on the other side of the board. I like pawn takes pawn, rook takes h5, and knight g3, followed by h4, h5. That's got to be strong. We just take. I like the Kuprejcik approach. This is the way to do it. It's basically, what's it called? Bayonet attack King's Indian, where black does a5, and you do b takes a5, rook takes a5, knight b3, rook a8, a4, a5, and just kill them. The same thing. This is perfect. Knight f5, only try, and then the key question is what white does now. Emery Tate, Kuprejcik, it's over. h5. He just sacked the pawn. Wow. Just doesn't stop. Black just tried to fend him off with h4. Look at this. g5, knight f8. I just can't stop it. I gotta see the end. Knight h4. Notice this is not a good idea. Move 11 should study more Kuprejcik games, but with a grain of salt. Man, dude just trapped his king. He's gonna have to live on d7. c5, knight g6. And then we don't know what happened next. King is not safe. Queen takes d3 plus 79.3. Alright, move 11. We found our favorite line. Is there any flaw with this? So maybe black could better defend with rook h7, but I don't think it makes a big difference. Yeah, it's like +3. It's +3. So bishop e3, while it's not a bad move, I think, the truth is that black is strategically lost here. It's not as fun as g takes h5. Killing in the name of... Yeah, it's just devastating. No. Cue up the Rage Against the Machine. It just looks very violent. I don't like black's game. But it's like you're playing his game a little bit now. He's distracting you from what's important on the other side. Yeah, I mean, d takes c3 should be considered. c3. D takes c5 should be considered, Bob. A good suggestion. And nice to see you focusing on the chess for once. Now that an astrophysicist can take care of other matters, Bob can concentrate on chess. What's important on the other side? The other side is melting down. I mean, this is structurally going to melt down. Black's king is over here on e8, like technically. I think that knight takes c5, the question becomes right here. Can black survive this? You're threatening b4. But b5 is attacked? I mean, it looks pretty bad. So probably d takes c5 is a strong move. The theme is to open the position. Kuprejcik chose to play g takes h. And clearly, like after bishop e3, it would be consistent, to play d takes c5 with bishop e3 there. It makes sense. It is the best move according to the engine, and our line is confirmed. Best, d c5, knight c5, king b1, b4, maybe only move. It still remains a question for white to open this position decisively. All right. Move 11. letting it get kind of weird. But that's... This is getting really kind of a little bit weird, crazy, complicated. F5 is obviously thematically great. Classic Gurga needs a retreat. Uh-oh. Maybe this isn't the best situation here. Rook F1. Oh, this is a cool... But this is a cool move. I was thinking Rook F1 and walk away to D1. But Move 11 found another way to do this. Queen C2 and walk up here. And he's got the Acerbate battery set up. Acerbate will do anything to set this up. So when you play B takes C when almost lost, I didn't think it was that bad. But I guess he'll just play Rook B8 and Bishop A3 and he'll just invade down on B2. I mean, I never would have let it get to that point though, you know. I mean, first of all, this move looks a little slow. And secondly, Bob's suggestion is strong, you know, so you just didn't open it up fast enough. I'm kind of surprised that black is that good though. And another thing, all right, I mean, I guess you could start to evacuate if you wanted to. You could start preliminary evacuation even now. If you want to treat it like a King's Indian, you could try to run away as soon as possible, I guess. You know, it's gonna turn into a Yasser Seirawan, Karo Khan advanced variation pretty soon. White could be in trouble. This may be too slow. So I guess the computer is gonna suggest something like this to keep lateral defense. Yeah. Some things are more important than pawn structure, I guess. Pawn chains. Much safer to take back this way. Wow, guys, we're really lagging behind on time, so I'm going to move through quickly. Bishop F8, Queen C2. I mean, this is nice. You got threats, but yeah, it was a nice escape. I mean, he just traded queens, but now white's just better. So what does he have? Move 11 said almost lost. Are you exaggerating? So he should have played Rook B8 instead. His queen's got to get out of the way so he can invade with a rook on B2 instead. But I think that Move 11 is slightly exaggerating. Oh no, he's not slightly exaggerating. He really had Rook B8 here right away. So this is really dangerous. Crap. Was Bishop C2 a better move at all? I mean, did you have to put the bishop on B1? Computer prefers Bishop C2. I mean, obviously it gets hit in some lines with B3. It's a tough call. Yeah, so knight takes C3. Everything would have been alright. Now you're in danger. He missed Rook B8. But you evacuated successfully. This endgame is just horrible for black. He has all the same disadvantages just with the queens still off the board. But I mean, this is massive space advantage for white. It should be nearly game over, even without the queen on the board. This is horrible. His bishop is misplaced. Nearly winning. Yeah. But luckily, I mean, the fact the queens are off the board, I mean, this is coming next. Ugh. Pawn chain chess. I love this. It's like a double helix. Space matters. There it goes. Crunch. Wait, is the center relevant? So this is not good. That's it, man. Fundamentally, Black's position just collapsed. Just collapsed. Coach AH, welcome to the stream. The pawn center. Very powerful. And fundamentally, that's a good exchange. He got rid of his bad bishop. But Black has 4 Isolani. He's down a pawn and he has the bad structure. And White's pieces are monstrously active. There's one check. Oh, this is just over. Yeah, I mean, frankly, I don't feel comfortable with that c4 avalanche. Black, you know, being castled queenside there. So there were better ways to play that, but good game overall. Move 11. We got to go through a couple more games quickly, guys. PG is up next. PG Soccer Rook. All right, this is a long one. Chess Dweeb. Chess Dweeb number 2. Oh, this is the 30-30. Another Chess 960. Simul. PG Soccer Rook playing. Let's make the colors right. Black. All right, guys. I'm gonna go through the next games kind of faster. We're getting down there. Everybody plays. No, Chess Dweeb is playing G3 every time. Symmetrical. Chess Dweeb just does this. This is the same with Nefedov. G3, E4. Is this the same tournament? No, it's 30 plus 3. Danish. No, it's Boros Danish. Otherwise known as Chess Dweeb. Alright, C3. Knight F6. D4. D6. Black's a little lacking for space here. White is better. Don't worry, PG. Oh, you be quiet. Don't you even start. Alexa, you be quiet. Down. I turn on the volume of Alexa. Big mistake.
I didn't catch that. Was that play the song Big Mistake?
No. No, just stay in your lane, Alexa. It's gonna ask if that's a song.
Did you mean play the song Big Mistake?
Alexa, stay in your lane. Yeah, so it looks like Danish got a little carried away here. The fishing pole might be good. I just see no reason for White to do that. You know, he has a good opening, solid position. This is just like overreaching. It's very similar to Nefedov. It was the same thing. It was knight g4. Isn't that weird? Nefedov had knight g4 with a target on f2. The same thing happening again. He's got the sneaky castles, though. The Queen of Death. Nancy is on h1. From this position, Nancy is protected from all the Republican senators. She's like tucked away in the bottom of like a basement bunker in Democratic-controlled part of the Capitol. I mean, h1. There's nothing that can get to that queen. It's just ridiculous. But that's a problem. I mean, this is an issue. You know, if Black can keep this diagonal stuffed, seriously, Nancy might not be that influential to the impeachment process. But I wonder if if Black actually anticipated castles or not. So he castled himself. Chuck and Nancy. All right. Anyway, enough political jokes. H3, knight h6. Yeah, I mean, I just think White has a space advantage. Don't worry, PG Soccer Rook. I'm terrible at chess 960 openings too. You have a huge space disadvantage here. But Danish gets creative with e6. I guess Danish and Hungarian. Is it Dennis? I mean, I feel like Dennis is a different name. You know, it's actually... It's not Dennis. It's just like... It's a Hungarian name. Anyway, knight b6. Rook fe1. f5. Living with the thorn in our side. b3. Knight d5. Somehow, PG Soccer Rook began to play the Leningrad Dutch. And it became a Leningrad Dutch. And it's not a bad one. This is cool. That's a really prophylactic move. Preventing knight b4 and preparing c4. Knight bd2. I wasn't sure if it is the literal version of Dennis or not. It might be. I don't trust Wikipedia. Bob, you trust in Wikipedia too much, man. d5. Knight e5, knight e4, knight on df3. This is like looking like Bug House or something. It's starting to hurt my head. Can we just surround that with like rook f6 and rook takes pawn? You played b6, but can somebody explain to me what's happening here after this? Removal of pawn. Denise. It's actually the equivalent of Denise. Get your information right, Bob. So rook f6. I don't understand how he's going to protect that pawn. And I don't mean to be materialistic, but PG Soccer Rook, that pawn is really, it's invasive, you know. If we get rid of that, we'll just be able to move around a little bit better. So I think that's got to be a strong move. Am I missing something? Yeah, it's just the best move. It's not the best move. Wow. Why? What? So the engine is claiming that white's still better after c4. Wow, how does that work? Okay, you got that. Wow. So this is good. We would have to take here. He's obviously seeing all this. And then take here, and then white has like d5 and stuff. Not right away, but at some point. So the computer says that white is plus 2.8 in this position, based on bad bishop on a8 and active white pieces. My rook f6 is wrong. So apparently he knew all this. Knight d2, d5, knight e5, knight e4, b6. Okay, this is a good idea positionally. And now it's really like a Dutch. Yeah, I mean, we hate to have to do this. It's the Leningrad or Stonewall Dutch where we have to give up our dark square bishop. It's a bad scene. This is just positionally a bad scene for black now. If we have to do that, we can't lift that pawn on e6. I don't like this anymore. Danish here took with a d pawn. My inclination is to take with a knight. I know that he's very proud of his knight on d7. There may be a problem with queen f6. I think he might be concerned about queen f6 surrounding that pawn again. So, assuming that's true, you know, knight e5, queen f6 might be some sort of technical problem. He takes with the d pawn, queen g7. And the problem for white is that he can't play f3. That's the move he needs to get in. Very annoying. He can play it, but he's going to lose the g3 pawn. So this knight on d7, you know, I was kind of suspicious of that move in the beginning. I wonder if that ends up being a problem for white. He's setting up control of that. Oh, this surrounds that pawn now. It's still a very dangerous position for black. Best case scenario, look at that. Look at that diagonal. Even if you win the pawn, you're in a lot of trouble. This is chess 960, yeah. Danish has massive compensation for the sacrificed pawn, but the knight is lost. Uh-oh. But is it? It's not lost, because we have e6 check. I still don't like him putting the knight there in the first place. Like, it seemed a little bit much. So it's trapped, and you're clearing the way. Could you take back on e4 here and just pick it up later? The problem here for black might be, you know, there's some variations like c5 and bishop c4, but that can probably be remedied by like b5. I wonder if PG Soccer Rook, you know, could take on e4 first. So maybe this move is a slight inaccuracy because you're letting him open up the position for these bishops a lot. You know, I think you could probably keep it a little more closed down if you could keep it a little bit more closed down if you delay. The knight is basically trapped. So I think my instinct is to take here first and try to, this is still trapped. You've got a million ways to attack it and you can't really protect it twice. And if c5, b5, it's still going to stay trapped. Knight f7 is also a useful move. Alright, so queen d7. It looks like it's opening up, but this is a really radical move. I never would have played that. You know, Danish is a totally different player from me. I mean, I guess he's playing for more tactical style stuff. He's looking for this long diagonal. A lot of bullet chess, fast. Paced. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do with queen b2? d4? Did somebody tell me what our move is now? I still can't believe that Jonathan Spielman was ever number 4 in the world. I mean, I'd like to meet whoever published that rating supplement. For like, what, 1 day or something? I mean, that's insane. I still think it's fake news. We're not allowed to talk about it, all right? I'm not allowed to be wrong about anything. Can somebody tell me why this isn't winning for white after queen b2? Because it's not, I guess. You have d4, bishop b7, queen b7, queen d4, e5. It just keeps on going. Rook e5. It's pretty scary, though. I'm not really liking black here. +5. Let's see what happened. I mean, I thought the Danish's whole idea was to play e6 to clear this diagonal for queen b2. And honestly. And he doesn't play queen b2 here. Kind of weird. You know? Wow, I mean, it's shocking. Honestly shocking, Bob. How Spielman would be higher rated than Belyavsky in that era. There's other players like Salov. That was a bogus rating supplement. I must have slept through that one. That is scary. Frightening. Rook takes c1, rook takes c1, queen d6. Now queen b2 and queen g3 check. It's a little late now. And e5 takes. And oops, queen b2 didn't work. It's a different game now. We're up 2 pawns. White has some threats. Is it enough to save the game? Wait, what? Can he do like rook g7 check? The knight goes to f7. It's very annoying. Black has winning chances here. Yeah, Timon. Timon and Salav I would consider stronger than Spielman. Personally. My personal opinion is that Timon and Salav definitely stronger than Spielman. Belyavsky's a no-brainer. I think that Spielman has a tough time being in the top 10 objectively, but the ratings are what the ratings are. That's just my opinion. Not to take away from him being a great player, But I think that's definitely, Salav is stronger too. Rook c7, a6, a4, f4, rook g7 check, king f8, rook a7, a5, bishop g7 check. Whoops. Now we lost a piece and it degenerates into like a bullet game. This is a nice save. g5. This is greedy, so he's now playing for a win. It's just a bullet game. They actually had quite a bit of time though. They played like it was a bullet game. Bob, what are you talking about? The British were never strong. They didn't have a grandmaster till like what, Nigel Short? The British were strong in the 1800s, and then something happened, and they never had a grandmaster. They were like one of the last countries to have like a strong grandmaster. I mean, that's weird, France and England both, despite being like the epicenter of chess in the 1800s or whatever, ironically, like didn't have GMs till really, really late. I mean, that's weird for me. Isn't it kind of weird that it took England and France so long to have grandmaster, an official like grandmaster? It's bizarre. Because that was like the epicenter of chess 100 years earlier. It's not even clear to me that Spielman was stronger than Nigel Short, Anyway, Short was youngish back then. He was still very strong though. I mean, Short beat Lev Albert in like 1990 in a match. Short was the British champion, and he played a match with I thought that Short was stronger than Spielman by that point. I mean, he was winning the British championship, and he played a match of like the British champion against the American champion and just slaughtered Short was 3 in the same ranking. Okay. He just slaughtered Yasser. No, I'm sorry, Yasser. He slaughtered Lev Albert for like 9-1. 9-1 a match. All right, guys, this was fun. I'm gonna quickly look at Mule Skinner. We got to go through these last games quickly. Ratings weren't that accurate back then, Bob. But I mean, that was much later when Short played Kasparov. Comparatively speaking, he was clearly the #1 British Grandmaster by that point. Mickey was coming along though, so again it becomes marginal. Tarash French, Mule Skinner here. Which color? Mule Skinner's white in a French. Yeah, I mean, Short didn't really have a chance, dude. It was disgusting that Short lost. I mean, that he beat Karpov in the match to even be able to challenge Garry Kasparov. Probably like the most disappointing result in chess that I remember. If that hadn't happened, we would have had another great match between Kasparov and Karpov. No doubt Kasparov probably would have prevailed, but we would have had another classic Kasparov-Karpov match, one last, try. But sadly, we had this like useless totally anticlimactic Kasparov short match, which is just basically a waste of time. It's like Anand playing Magnus Carlsen. All right, A6. I've never seen here before. Mule Skinner plays the French guys with black. Be interested to play the French against a French player. G6 is ugly. I guess Castles is fine. This is starting to look like Adrian Casillas, my friend. An old friend from Boston. He used to do stuff like this with black. He would play A5, H5, C4, B5, Rook B8, King D7, and then try to lock the entire board from side to side with black, and just, yeah, that's ugly. But this is just a matter of preparing G4, F5. It's just another move 11 game like we saw against the Gurgenidze Karakan. Or maybe just G4, depending if black tries to castle or not. Knight G5 right away. So we see the same. Yeah, H5 is really, really bad, but already black's position looks suspicious to me. I don't like G6. I don't like A6. And this is a great way of just attacking the base of the pawn chain. Kupfrejcik, take 2. It looks like maybe black should play knight e7 here to try to defend himself. Can we do that? I mean, I'm sure it's not great, but looks like a move. Anyone in favor? Say aye. We could get some sort of acerbate like mate, you know, queen c2, bishop e7, knight e6. Acerbate would love this. This is a beauty. There's no mate though. We're gonna need f5. It's probably enough though. I assume this is enough. You never know, there could be some kind of queen sacrifice. Maybe queen e6 and f5. No, not good for black, guys. Joanna's dressed up as a witch reading ghost stories. That's awesome. Okay, we'll get this done quickly so we can get over there. You guys can have a more entertaining streamer. I'm almost done. All right, knight e6. Yeah, that's just fantasy. So knight g5, bishop b7, queen c2 was actual game. It's over. There's this, and yeah, queen c2. Acerbate loves it. Joanna's a streamer. Sometimes I raid her stream. She's cool. She likes to play Crazy House instead of normal chess, which is fine. I would play Crazy House if I wasn't inordinately busy. If I had any free time. All right, rook g8, knight takes e6 anyway. F takes e6, bishop g6 check. King e7 and the rolling pawns with bishop g5. Great. Too strong for this opponent. No contest. I plead no contest. Black just resigned here. Okay, guys. Quickly, Save a Dog and Stuk. Just 5-minute analysis. Save Dog is white. He who is last shall have the shortest game analysis. Alright. Dude. Play Fortnite like Naka. I wish I had time for that, man. Must be nice to have that kind of free time. Knight f3, b6, g3, bishop e7, bishop g2, c5. So this is a technical mistake. Or maybe black did it on purpose, but it's not a good line. It's just not good. So now you have d5, and you do Acerbate's favorite move, which is knight h4. Black's in some trouble. It's playable. You guys can see here that Gashimov actually played it. It's played in the spirit of the Benoni. It's too late to submit games, John. I'm already out. I'm actually 10 minutes over schedule. You have to submit the games in advance. I'm actually 10 minutes over. But we're going to do these last two because these guys submitted the games before. Normally what you would do is just send me a message on lichess, like before the stream. Or maybe in the beginning of the stream. And I would put it in a list. But I'm really late. I've been kind of slow today. We didn't get through as many as I would like. But anyways, so Gashimov playing as a Benoni player, he's willing to play the Benoni, basically. After knight h4, I guess g6. It's just a form of Benoni. Not a great one, because the bishop's buried on b7. But as you can see, the results actually surprisingly here favoring black. And this feeds into my whole argument about, I would say, it's hard to play chess with a space advantage. Space advantage is not easy. Exploiting space advantages. Fundamentally, black is slightly worse here, but in practice, look, he actually scored significantly plus score over what is arguably a very, very small sample size. Okay, statistically, this result is irrelevant. 19 games, whatever, 27. It's statistically irrelevant. Probably, but it's still, I think, interesting that black actually had a plus score. Anyway, so Savadog making a big mistake here when he plays castles. He's letting black get away with something. This allows black to almost equalize by force. I guess we're transposing to some sort of hedgehog. I prefer knight takes d4, but that's just my personal preference to play this after take. You could even play queen a4 and transpose to, I would think you would transpose to some kind of, that's actually different though. No, yeah, it's not great. Better to play b3. All right, but not very dangerous. Probably queen d4 is better. My teammate Zoltan Varga would agree. Knight c6, and then can you go queen f4? Yeah, this is a hedgehog, actually. You were literally transposing to a hedgehog line. Queen f4, queen b. I thought queen b8 in this position. Or is this just similar to a hedgehog line? I'm not sure now. Yeah. Black is solid. Black's always solid. It's the hedgehog. Queen f4, queen b8. Varga told me to queen d4 against the double fianchetto. This is not a double fianchetto. I'm just kidding. Stockfish always loves queen f4. Anyway. Queen d3 is okay, but now you've got to watch out for knight a5. Yeah, this isn't great. Because our knight isn't on a great square. We didn't get our knight to its optimal square on c3. So black got out in the opening, and he missed his chance to play d5 according to the engine. Though maybe he doesn't have to play d5. He better do something sooner rather than later, because ultimately he'll end up backward on the d file. If he just stalls here for too long, if he fails to play d5, he did play it, so. Now I think it's about equal. Black could have a queen problem in some situations. I don't know if Savadog should exchange pawns or not. Kind of leaning toward like rook d1. Giving up the tension here isn't clear. There's also this little possibility you want to keep in mind. That's what happened. But I thought rook d1 with the idea of knight b4, queen b1. Happy Halloween. Knight b4, queen d4. He said he can play queen b1 and be okay. Now he's like losing the exchange, which is really unnecessary. This was totally unnecessary. Yeah. This was a bad opening by white. Lack of theoretical knowledge just cost him. And he just doesn't have any compensation for this exchange. Okay, his idea is to take here. Interesting. Maybe I'll have to eat my words. Maybe I have to eat my words here? I mean, is this something? Can he just bring his knight back? Yeah. Huh. I didn't think you could sack a whole rook. But you might. Guys, yeah, tomorrow's the last stream until November 10th. The next stream will be November 10th at 6:30 European time. November 10th, 6:30 simul p.m. European time, which is 12:30 in the midday on Sunday, November 10th. HTFP is all in. I don't think this is sound. How's the material doing? We've got 2 pawns for a piece, it appears. 2 pawns for 2 pieces. Yeah. That was bad. That was bad. Thing is that Savadog is new to d4. He was playing the English before, so you're going to have to really put in the time. But okay, lack of opening knowledge there. Chalk it up to that. And then the last one is Stuk. Amazing game with Gareev. I don't know this guy. He seems kind of crazy. Gareev playing what, g4? Your favorite move? Yep. There it is. Psychopathic opening guy. Blindfold. Crazy, man. But black played h5, man. I mean, h5, please. h5. How does black justify that? I love h5, you know, but I can't agree that it can be a good move here against g4. I think we have to stick with e5 and our knight e7 system. g5 kills the knight. This is just like psycho. Black's playing the lobster. I assume that black's in serious trouble already. Time to play something sensible. I'm not sure that sensible is taking on g6. Maybe better to just develop your knight or something here for black. With knight f6 and just accept that your king will be on f7 or I don't know. You know, this doesn't look like a great move. It's just a wasteland, you know. Already black's position looks bad. The computer thinks it's still equal. Wow. I would think that white would be better here. Yeah, it's coming around. It's coming around finally. No, it still thinks black's okay. I like white already, honestly. The dude probably has this like in his preparation. He's got the crazy openings worked out. I don't know how strong black is. I think it's silly to feed into Gareev's system here. He seems a little crazy. You know, that's probably a great thing, but also holding him back, you know. It's like a blessing and a curse for Gareev. Rook g1, queen d6, c5. Obviously, this is a player who should be good at chess 960, playing like random openings like this. Good coordination with the white pieces. I do like rook h5. At least he got that piece in the game. But black now, I mean, white now goes completely gambit style. I'm honestly surprised by pawn takes d2 check, but maybe not. You know, maybe that is better, because if you take on f2, white remains with the powerful d pawn. Like pawn takes f2, king f2. I don't know what I'm going to suggest for black, actually. Slight problem. So that does seem like the best move. This is going to be amusing. The queen is not trapped any longer because it has c3 available. Was this like a blindfold game or something? Yeah, so if rook e5, knight e5, queen a3, and what is this? Black is alive or something? And white is alive? Or black is alive, excuse me. I'm getting confused. Yeah. Okay, so this is just a bluff. I wasn't sure. Yeah, it doesn't work. You can just take it. Here, I don't know, was this played in tournament? I assume. Poor guy. It's called not developing your pieces. I have this gut instinct that rook takes g6 is not white's best move here. Let's see what the engine says. Shockingly, white has almost no edge, according to Stockfish. I thought he was clearly better. Wow. I mean, how can black survive here with no pieces developed? Someone on sound, what do you think? How could he survive with no pieces developed? You know, that doesn't look safe. Of course, exchanges favor black's survival, being up 3 pawns. Things are looking kind of grim now. Grin it to win it. This is getting ugly. Yeah. Crazy guy. Crazy game. Anyway, guys, that was entertaining. Thanks for sharing that, Stook. I know you love to play g4. The threats are just too numerous now. It is ironic, though, the queen doesn't have any squares. I mean, I guess h5. But then rook takes d7 check. Where does the queen go? It doesn't have any squares. a4, only square. Then what, like rook d7, I assume. Rook d7, knight d7, knight e6, you know, king c8 and queen e8 mate. Happy Halloween, guys. Thanks for joining me. Sorry we didn't have any costumes for you or candy. I'll, you know, see if maybe we can raid another stream here. Joanna has spooky stories. I don't know if you guys want to watch that. What do you vote for? Should I raid the spooky stories stream? I'm not gonna raid Hikaru. I hate the dreaded chess site. I like Hikaru, but I'm not into that site. Anyway, guys, I will see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Have a great one. I will be back tomorrow for the last stream. The last stream before I move to Europe. All right, guys? Don't forget. Take care. Thanks for watching. Happy Halloween. Bye-bye.